So we're gonna go through all the game settings. Don't worry, we'll get there. I'll go through like monitor settings and things like that at the very end, because if you guys want those, you can have those too. But I'll go through at least just like the Dune stuff to begin with, because there's a lot of really nice little quality of life changes, a lot of really nice just general changes, honestly, that you can make to make your game either a load faster, run better, appear smoother, more colorful, brighter, etc, etc. So starting right here with the launch option, that's gonna be number one. I'm actually gonna put it in chat right now too. That right there, if you might have to tweak it a little bit for your, and I'm gonna put the corrected ones in, I'll probably put it in a comment. I'll probably make it the top comment actually on the video, or I'll put it in the description. But yeah, this right here, so you're gonna find your program files, because yours might be a little different, but as long as you do the dash no startup screen, so obviously it's, you know, C partition program files x86 Steam apps, which yours again might be a little different, but you're gonna come into here, find where your Steam is, go to Steam apps, common, Dune, Awakening, not the playtest, obviously the regular one, and then the application is right here. There's two little things that I do to the application as well, which if you do these, you also have to do them to the launcher if you're still running the launcher. It's a little trick from Tarkov. Not sure it makes a whole bunch of difference, to be honest, with Dune, but I've noticed it's pretty smooth, so maybe it'll help you too. But I run it as admin, and then I change the high DPI scaling. This used to be a big thing in Tarkov because you would get really bad stuttering whenever you would ADS, whenever you would right click. So doing this, for whatever reason, fixed that on Tarkov, and it's something that I've done on games since then. That's a good place to start. Then what that does is causes your game to do this. Yep, it'll ask if you want to launch as admin. You hit yes. Now you're gonna see a big difference. Yeah, disabling full screen optimization. If you run the game in full screen, I don't run mine in full screen anyway, so it doesn't really apply here. But you're gonna notice a massive difference between my game and your game right here, because I don't get any of the splash screens. I don't get any launcher. I don't get anything. It goes straight to checking shaders. So super nice, super clean. Oh, don't do this if you use GeForce Now. Yeah, I don't use GeForce Now or the NVIDIA app either. So that's probably a good point to make. But yeah, it'll go right to checking shaders. It'll kick you right into the main screen. You get to skip all the other stuff. Super nice, super clean. And let's get into some in-game settings. We'll do like graphic settings probably first, actually. So right off the bat, we'll start in gameplay. We'll kind of work our way across. I like to use hold for my sprint. That's personal preference. Some people like to press to sprint. I'm not going to get into that. I don't like to toggle my ADS. Same thing. I don't like to toggle my sprint. I like to hold it. So I'm a hold toggle or a hold ADS guy as well. Those are all set to no. Equip lock is off. Suspensor lock off. I know some people like that. If you're on controller, it's a little bit nicer too, because then it'll hold your suspensor for you. You don't have to hold that button down. So if you're trying to like shoot things while in the air, it's a little bit cleaner. But yeah, there's that. Mouse sensitivity, obviously that stuff's all personal preference, but I'll show you mine. And then camera shakes off, controller rumble off, show helmet yes. This one's really big. I don't know how it would feel on controller, but I can tell you in PC, the independent rotation is massive, because when you're building something, what it does is instead of something rotating like this, depending on which way I'm facing, it goes exactly the way the previous one was. So I can like build, and they're all facing the exact same direction. There's no difference, you know what I mean? They don't start to change and rotate just because I moved my cursor a little bit, which the default setting looks a little bit like this. And they all start to turn, and they're all facing differently, you know what I mean, based on your camera. So that one is huge. You're going to want to change that one. Again, controller maybe not, but independent rotation 100% on mouse and keyboard. I disable the auto centering on vehicles because I like to be able to swivel it to where I want it to be. I also turn the toggle vehicle boost on, so then it boosts like an Orny does. You kick it on, it stays on till you kick it off. So I switched both of those. Planar lock, this is a massive one. Toggle vehicle boost, obviously we just talked about that. I leave that on, but planar lock is really important, especially if you're ever doing any kind of carrying. Because what you'll notice, and I can give you a little example as well. If you, for example, stare at the ground and move, typically this would suck my Orny down to the ground, especially if I push forward. With planar lock on, you'll notice that my altitude's not changing. So my altitude's not going up or down until I tell it to go up or down. So until I hit spacebar or left control, or the equivalent on controller, it's not going to go up or down. So I can look up. So if I'm in a battle, if I'm in a fight with somebody, I can look up and I can hold forward on the like hold W, and I'm not going up. It's not affecting my altitude. Whereas if we had this off like this, and I hold W while looking down, it's sucking me down to the ground. And if I hold W while pushing forward, now it's going up. And I would much rather it stay at the set height and not adjust itself. 100% recommended. That's like an absolute must. Everybody, whether you're on controller or mouse and keyboard, should be running that. These I don't really fuck with too much, and I don't really change anything in the dead zones because I'm not on controller. Display gamma, I leave it at 2.2. I end up adjusting my gamma and stuff later. Field of view, I leave it at 1.7 instead of the full 110. That's just the FOV that I've been used to for a long time. I think it works out to like 75 vertical FOV. Motion blur off, VSync off. Frame rate cap unlimited, dynamic HUD off. Obviously I'm not on an ultra wide monitor, so that is off. Hardware cursor, yes. Show hotbar on, and then those are both off. Chat bubbles on, because that's super nice. People are walking around. Voice chat indicators are on, and then this is really nice. This one actually comes off standard, but if you're in a team with other players, or in a party I should say, it puts little numbers, colored numbers over their heads. I don't know why this doesn't come standard, but you should definitely turn it on. Super nice. Friendly indicators, super good. These are all just kind of personal HUD, guild messages, wall decorations, keyboard, so you can hide things on HUD if you want. Moving on to the important stuff, we're into graphics. It's important to note, so this is a, what is this, 9800 X3D and a 5080 with some 64 gigs of RAM of DDR5, so pretty beefy PC. But I think a lot of these settings would also help. Even when I was still on my 3080, I ran a lot of these settings. Even when I was on the 2070 Super, I think as well, I was still running some of these settings too. Just, yeah, the upscaling quality doesn't really matter because I run DLSS and frame gen basically off. Resolution scale at 100, DLAA, excuse me, for the quality. And then reflex, I just played around with this a little bit. You might lose a little bit of frames with reflex, but it feels better. It's kind of hard to describe. Like the latency feels a touch better. So you might lose like, I don't know, 5 or 10 frames. But yeah, just experiment with that. Try it on, try it off, see what you like. Shadows, I put to low. This obviously is off. GI quality low. Reflections low. Low end off. Limit process off. And then ultra for view distance. Low post-processing, low effects quality, high textures, high foliage. You still want the game to look nice. Like the game still looks visually really good. Textures wise, everything still looks really good. Shadows still look decent too, even though they're set to low. Yeah, like machinery and stuff still has a lot of detail on it. Walls still look really good. But no, yeah, I got out of the frame gen. The frame gen, I felt like it just added that little bit of latency, and it started to drive me nuts. That you get that weird like ghosting almost. It's like a weird blur around your character sometimes, and I just couldn't do it anymore. So I went back to no frame gen. I tried to make it work. Like I experimented a little bit with some different frame gens, like frame gen 3 and stuff, and the new like 4.5, and I ended up getting rid of it. So that's currently graphics. This stuff is not really going to matter because it's all personal preference, all just audio. That's whatever. Keybinds, the only things that really changed, you can see it actually at the bottom, is I put my abilities on my mouse button. So everyone always like, oh, mouse 1, mouse 2, how do you shoot or aim? It's not my shoot or aim. Those are still left and right click. It's my thumb button. So my thumb button left and thumb button right. Oh, and then the bigger one is I move spice to the equal sign. So I move that all the way to the far side of my keyboard, so I never ever accidentally tap Z and hit spice. If I hit spice, it's because I meant to. You know what I mean? Like I hit that shit on purpose. So yeah, that's really nice. I think as far as keybinds go, that's pretty much it for tweaks. Yeah, accessibility, all that stuff's off. Camera shakes, motion blur. Oh yeah, the seats, the buggy hotkey, that's a good one too. Yeah, exactly. For people that don't know, the F keys can now be set to swap, which again, not on controller, but you can use the F keys to swap to the different seats. So you can be in the turret, which is F2, driver is F1, passenger is F3. You can hot swap without having to do like the radial bullshit. Yeah, super nice. So that's pretty much it for game settings. If you're still here and you want to see like what I do for like monitor tweaks, obviously you're more than welcome to. This one's more for like the darker like testing stations, the darker labs. So in my NVIDIA control panel, not a whole lot that we tweak or change in here. Right here. So I do cap my frames on the GPU. I don't do it in game, but I cap it in the GPU. My monitor is like a 460 hertz, I think. So I just cap it slightly underneath that. Low latency mode, I switch that to ultra. And I mean, we're not doing the VSync trick, so that part doesn't even really matter. I haven't noticed a big difference with this either. Everybody said that like AMD hates the prefer max performance, but yeah, exactly. Reflex would override the low latency setting anyway. So this was more for like back in the day when games didn't have a low latency like reflex setting. Yeah, I haven't really noticed. This is also my first AMD CPU for gaming, but yeah, I haven't really noticed a massive difference despite what people said. But yeah, so that's fine. The bigger thing is in here, so you can kind of see it where it's a little bit dark here. Default settings, if we go back to normal, this is what the game should look like. So I do some minor tweaking to make it just that little bit brighter, a little bit more colorful. Again, this was something that we used to do on Tarkov, just because the game is very dark and lacked a lot of color. I'm also on an OLED monitor now, so that changes things a little bit. You don't need quite as much of a tweak, but I always suggest somewhere around a 60 to 65 in the contrast, and then gamma, it's whatever looks good to your eye. Every monitor is brighter, darker. It's going to probably be somewhere between a 1.5 and a 2.0. But if you find that happy spot for your eye, what you think looks good, and then digital vibrance, obviously, however colorful, you can make it full Fortnite mode if you want. But I find 70, at least on the OLED, looks really good. So mine are, what is it, 50, 65, 1.7, 70 across the board. And that's for both the monitor and the capture card, which yeah, I bet you could see it a little bit better too now that I'm up here with some draw distance. We returned it down to normal. Get a nice little comparison of stock settings. Yeah, it's just so much darker. Yeah, that's stock. And some people like that, the like gloominess of it. Personally, I like being able to see things in the darkness. And I like being able to see things in the testing stations. So if you guys have any questions about any of the things I tweaked or changed, feel free to let me know. But that's pretty much all she wrote. I hope it helps you either A, get some better frames, or B, just make your experience a little bit cleaner with some of the settings, the planar lock and that kind of stuff. I appreciate you guys.